Good morning. Lenny Sharp, Sharp Mountain Homes team and Yosemite area STR investors. So today I have something a little special. I am currently in Miami, Florida for EXPCon. Just registered, getting ready for the event to start. I actually want to share something that I discovered at the last conference I went to, which was BPCon, or the Convention for Bigger Pockets, which is a YouTube channel, podcast organization servicing real estate investors, including short-term rental investors. So I attended a session. It was 10 Ways to Become a Better Host by Garrett Brown, full-time employee at Bigger Pockets and the resident short-term rental expert at Bigger Pockets. So as a Airbnb superhost for almost 10 years with over 800 five-star reviews, I was pretty convinced that this was not something that I really needed, but I thought I'll attend and see if there's any tips that some of my clients can pick up. The truth is there was a lot of content, some great suggestions, and I plan on implementing these in my own short-term rentals very shortly. And I think you'll find this very valuable, whether you already have your short-term rental or you're still in the process of acquiring a property to use for short-term rental. So with no further ado, let me turn it over to Garrett Brown. I also include his slides so you can get a good sense of the specific tips that he offers. And I hope you find this very valuable.
Bigger Pockets short-term rental expert. I've been a short-term rental investor now for 6 years, and I've been in real estate investing for almost 10 years now on all sides. And I know this is a smaller group, and I know everybody in here is going to walk away from today learning the secrets to how to actually not only automate and save on your expenses, but also add more revenue just through the guest experience. So I'm super excited to present everything that I have in my brain to y'all and hopefully relay this to you so you can make it into an actionable thing in your own business. But because I know the energy is down, this is after lunch, everybody is kind of just weary a little bit. I want you to look to if you don't know somebody to your left or right, I want you to look to them, introduce yourself, tell them your name, where you're from, and then that will just the whole reason we're here is to network. So I just want y'all to open up real quick, meet everybody around you.
My dad did some contract work up there. He works for a station, so he was doing something up there. I know they do some medical sales up there, right? Yeah, it's like for sure. Nice, yeah. We got our primary plan for
All right. I don't want to cut off the conversations. I want you to pause your conversations and pick these up after. The whole reason a lot of us are here is to meet like-minded people that are trying to go to the same place we are or have been in the place that we're looking to go to. So now, that connection that you just made, you may do deals later. You may never interact with them again. But that alone, if you're able to take anything from this to realize that all of us together as hosts are going to rise all ships in one single tide. We are going to do a better job of building the guest experience to make sure that our names as hosts have become synonymous with excellent operators and excellent investors for whichever community you're in. So I'm super excited to kind of go into this. We're going to just start off in a very blunt and honest way. A lot of hosts are struggling right now. You're hearing, oh, maybe I should go to this market. Maybe I should buy a property here. Do I need to add a sauna? Where's the amenities arms race going? We all have heard it. We all have been in the same boat too. I am here to tell you that you can example, I was lied to. I was told I could make $50,000 passively doing Airbnb. Who here, when you first got started into short-term rentals, heard some, guru in quotations tell you, oh, this is going to be so passive, you're going to make $20,000 a month, and it's going to change your life, and you're just never going to have to work. Raise your hand if you heard anybody tell you some just outlandish things like that. I'm sure we all heard a couple very brave claims. We got into the short-term rental side and realized pretty quickly that it takes a little bit more to it than you actually even are expecting. But what if I told you that with a few simple things, you can increase your revenue and your guest experience by 10, 20, even up to 50%. And today, I'm going to present to you, these are not instant actionable things that you snap your fingers and your revenue just skyrockets. These are things to prevent refunds, prevent a bad guest experience, lower your expenses, automate so you can save more time and go after the things that actually will make you money as a real estate investor. We all have probably been bogged down in the weeds of answering guest messages. A toilet's clogged. Okay, let me figure this out. The guest doesn't know the Wi-Fi code. Oh, let me figure this out. And we're basically running around like a chicken with our head cut off, correct? What if there's actual, very simple, free, or even minimal cost tools that you can implement today that is going to change your guest experience and the amount of money you're having to put out each month in your short-term rental? So, a little bit of quick background on me. I went to school at the University of Hilton College in Houston under the hospitality management program. I worked in hotels and the hotel marketing side for 5 to 6 years before I got further into real estate. I became a real estate agent, hated it. I'm not a salesperson. I would try fix and flips, lost money, made some money. I eventually came across short-term rentals. This is about 2018, 2019. I now have operated short-term rentals in that aspect for 6 years. I have a lot of glamping units. I have a lot of tiny homes. I co-host for a lot of properties. And between 3 different sites, I have been able to optimize my systems to where I work a full-time job. I work full-time at Bigger Pockets and still manage all of these units. I have a team of 6 people that work under me now, and we do about 1.5 in gross revenue every single year. This is all while I do not have a massive team. I do a lot of these things myself, and a lot of it, our star rating on Airbnb is 4.95 over thousands of reviews. Our Google rate is extremely high. And a lot of this is nothing revolutionary that I'm doing. I am just making sure to focus on the guest experience, and in the end, that is maximizing my revenue more than you can even think. And I'm gonna lay out 10 ways that you can walk away from this today and do it yourself. So, I have these, and I'm all sure you've been there before too. You provide the best stay ever, and the guest leaves you a raving message about, hey, it was the best stay I've ever had. You went above and beyond. Everything was perfect, and then they still hit you with a 4-star review. That is something that none of us will be able to control. We're always going to have guests that are in that line of sight with whatever they think of how the star ratings work on OTAs. But if you can maximize your guest experience from that point on, those will become even more far and few in between. So I don't have an exact slide for some of these quick hitters. There's a few things that you all should be doing to maximize your revenue. If you're not doing the simple things as early check-in fees, late checkout fees, pet fees, dynamic pricing. If any of these things you're not already doing, we can talk after, but these should be automatically implemented into your systems. This is the lifetime value of a customer coming into your property can be dramatically increased through those simple things. And those are like no questions should be done by everybody around. But we're going to get into what exactly is actually going to make your property stand out compared to others and get the word of mouth bookings that we all need. One of the first things I tell a lot of owners to do, and then when you see video walkthroughs, you may be co-hosting for somebody, you may be the owner of the property. A lot of us, we probably know the properties better than anybody else out there, and if not, then you need to either have somebody under you that will know it. I do these walkthroughs. It's a very simple thing, and if you've never stayed in your property, I highly suggest that you at least once a year go into your wherever your properties are at and stay in it for a day or two. You need to work out the kinks, work out what are the weird nuances of every single house that is out there that you'll be able to relate to your guests. What I do with this video walkthrough, All these messages can be automated. If you're not using a property management software, I highly, there's a ton of them that are amazing out there. I personally use Logify. I know a lot of people use Hospitable, Hostfully. There's a ton of them out there. All of these type of messages that I'm going to talk about today can be automated through your systems. The walkthrough video is one of my favorite for a million reasons. One, and when I say a walkthrough video, I talk about you need to get on camera. I know it could be scary to some people, but there's logic behind it. Let me explain why. I want you to get on an iPhone. It doesn't have to be a top-notch camera. Get on an iPhone camera, and you walk the property, and you are showing all the nuanced things in your walkthrough. Show, like, some of my properties have a weird gas fire pit. I have to show them how to exactly use it. And you walk through the entire property. This video alone has saved myself and my team so many times because you can make this video, you can put it on YouTube for free, you can timestamp so say you're walking through and there's at the 11-minute mark, you talk about your hot tub, how to use it, what the rules, all these things there. At that time-stamped exact mark, if you timestamp each thing, if a guest comes up with a question, you can send them that video again, even though they should have already had it, and say, hey, go to 11-minute mark in the video. That's going to answer your hot tub question. A lot of people are going to be visual learners, but most people, when they get this video, it not only is going to eliminate all of the questions that you constantly deal with of, hey, how do you work the microwave? How do you work the oven? Like questions that baffle all of us that we are kind of surprised people will ask sometimes. You're like, how have you made it through your life and don't know how to work a microwave? But it happens. Like I have lockboxes in some of my properties. I have to show on the video. I don't show the code. I don't show sensitive information because, that is all like we give codes out the day of check-in and things. But these things are going to eliminate all of these ridiculous questions that you get and have to spend time and drop the phone on and answer. The amount of times that people have commented on like, thank you for so much for all the information you sent. Like, I didn't have any questions. It was a great stay. There's two other really cool factors that people don't think about with a walkthrough video. It humanizes the host. A lot of people now are Airbnb is a big corporation and all these, like, you're just terrible and all these things that, like, they see a company and they're just bashing us down. If you put the humanization of you being the actual host, that tends to like deflect and kind of put their guard down on like, okay, I'm gonna give them a little bit of leeway. And I've had so many people that have latched on to talking, my team will be talking to them, but they think they're talking to me. They feel the personable experience, and that's what people really look for. The other real secret, and as a marketing person, is what I love, you can put this video on YouTube, don't show any of the private information that you need to. Guests are going to watch this video all the way through continuously. And I'm not sure if all y'all know how YouTube works. And if you have one property, this may not be the insight for you necessarily. If you have a few properties and you're really trying to get into the marketing aspect, YouTube loves when people watch a video all the way through. And so this is going to be free marketing for your property, because I can almost guarantee you that you're going to get a little bit into the YouTube algorithm, especially if you label this right. Like, I'm near Houston, Texas, so I'll use this for example. Like, I'm near a lake in specific, and I put it as Lake Livingston Vacation Rental XYZ Walkthrough, or any type of SEO language that you can use. Not only is that video going to be promoted to Google and their search engine, because Google owns YouTube, but you also, some people are searching on YouTube for this. These are this simple tip alone is going to push you into a YouTube algorithm for a thing that helped your guest experience from the beginning, and now you're starting to get a bit of YouTube traction for no reason. Getting somebody to watch a whole video on YouTube is almost impossible, but I guarantee your guests are going to do it, and then this is another marketing tactic for you. And this is going to eliminate all those back-end questions, but at the same time, give you your time back to figure out like, what's my next big money-making activity? If you're answering, where exactly the broom is in the closet for somebody in a text message, that's not a good use of your time. Having this all automated is going to be continuously easy marketing for you. I've had several videos like this hit 10 to 12,000 views in like a month or so and trigger into this algorithm, and have had people say, hey, I saw your YouTube video for your property, like, how do I book? And you have all your booking information in the description, But that alone is going to eliminate what exactly people are looking for when they're going to a vacation. A lot of people are nervous going to a vacation rental. They may not even know what they're exactly stepping into. You give them the lay of the land before they get there, and at that point going forward, you're going to be able to use more time to the bigger deals. Is kind of what we're talking to. I want to show that. It's kind of a quick one. That leads you into being more creative with your custom touch points. And when I say custom touch points, this is something that, again, some of these things are not going to be instant money makers where you're like, okay, I can see where I'm going to make more revenue from this. But with a custom touch point, this is going to be something that is super memorable for your guest. A lot of people know about welcome notes, and it's very popular. And I think it's a great touch that I think people have gotten away from. You can have your cleaners write a welcome note, and hey, find out what they're celebrating. Hey, John, thanks for coming stay with us. We can't wait to have you. The ultimate next level, though, now, and I've done this at all my properties, is in using AI tools, you'll be able to come up with even more things. Is at my properties, we find out what exactly somebody is coming out to celebrate or why they're coming out. We find out their name, all the information we can in an automated message. I have my virtual assistant take that information, they put it into ChatGPT, and we make song lyrics for that guest. We take those song lyrics, we put them into a $5 a month AI song generator, we make a custom song for their stay, send it to them, and the amount of people that have messaged me back and actually thought it was me singing or something is wild. They don't understand. I've been told I have a beautiful voice, which I do not, more times than I can count just through these AI songs. But the amount of reviews I have gotten that have mentioned this custom touch point that I gave to them, or the amount of times we've been tagged on Instagram because somebody was like, hey, this vacation rental owner made my own custom song for me. I have 25 plus properties. We spend $5 a month on this one simple tool. And I have gotten more promotion on Instagram from people posting up the song, asking about it. People have made their own content with the song in the background. It is called social currency. And the one thing from the marketing side that people kind of underestimate is how much people want to brag to their friends. I can't think of a better way to explain social currency. People want to talk about the cool places they're staying. People want to talk about the cool experiences they're having. It's not every day that somebody is getting that type of custom touch point to them. And there's a million things you can do for the custom touch point. It doesn't have to be an AI song. It doesn't have to be a handwritten note. It may be, something local, like something local from the area, or maybe something that maybe you crochet and you want to leave somebody some type of crochet feature. There's a million ways you can hit this custom touch point. And there's a book, and it actually got cut off. It's actually called Unreasonable Hospitality, not Reasonable. So, and I cannot highly recommend to anybody in this audience to read that book. It's from, I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. Is it up there? No, it's not. He's from New York. He was a restaurateur, and he goes into and dives into exactly what are these small things that are going to increase the feeling that people get at your property. Not just this is not a transaction when we do a lot of short-term rental when I say vacation rentals. This is not just a one-off, like, okay, I paid you money, here's your stay, that's the end of it. That is how you can go out of business rather quickly instead of building a long-lasting, longevity-filled career or business, however you want to look at this. Using some type of these custom touch points within your stay is going to not only increase the satisfaction for guests, but your word of mouth is going to be exponential through this. As any person in here, your biggest goal should be getting word of mouth bookings. They don't cost anything. It's a lot easier to have a guest be brought to you than it is to acquire a guest. And these are the little things that I have personally seen in all of my properties that other hosts are not doing, and that we're standing out and getting these good reviews. And I didn't touch on it a little bit ago, but good reviews, I hate being handcuffed to the Airbnb review, system. We all probably do. It's not anything that we like to play with. But at the same time, they matter. We all know they matter. We all know that the better reviews we get pushed up further in that system. It doesn't matter if you're doing direct bookings, Verbo, all of these things. Direct bookings are going to be just as much as your Google reviews. These type of little touch points are what are going to bring a stay into an experience for people. This is one of my personal favorite as well too, that I think, again, it's not something that, oh, my revenue is going to go up from this instantly when I have it. It actually costs a little bit to do this next thing. This is an in case you forgot basket. This is something, especially depending where you're at in the country, whatever your market is, it's probably very hard say something is missing from a property, or a guest shows up in the middle of the night and a guest shows up in the middle of the night and they forgot their toothbrush. A lot of guests think we're hotels. They have put those in and make them synonymous basically, but we're not. We don't have that capability. We don't have a front desk. How can you have your own front desk at the property? Well, think about what a guest coming in actually might want to use. I provide, and this isn't my exact welcome basket, but it's very close to it. So you can provide small toothbrush and toothpaste bundles. You can provide eye masks. You can provide earplugs. All these things can be bought in bulk at the same time on Amazon, and you're going to spend $2 to $3 on this product. The amount of times though that a guest has reached out and said, that welcome basket saved me. Like, I didn't have to go to the store for this. I needed this, and it instantly was there for me. You can throw small little snacks in there. This is, and all of your price points matter depending on, what your price point of your property is, depending on how elevated this in case you forgot basket is going to be. But one of my favorite parts about it is if you have things at your property that are known to be an issue, so for one of my properties, we're considered a hotel, we're a micro resort. There's one particular site there that our security light that we cannot turn off is kind of in the area of the property. I provide these sleeping masks, and anytime that anybody says, hey, is there any way to turn off that light? Oh, I'm so sorry, we can't do it. Here are these sleeping masks. We have the sleeping mask in your welcome basket if you need to use them. I was so worried when I launched that property that every single person was going to complain about that light. I couldn't figure out what the solution was. And then when I sat back and thought about it, I was like, I could solve this issue for $1 or $2, give the guest the sleeping mask experience, and it's never became an issue since then. So if you have common issues at your place, say you live next door to a noisy nightclub, or your property's near that, earplugs are going to be essential. These are the type of things that are going to mitigate any of these refund requests, any of these bad experiences where you get a bad review that's unjustified to you almost. You don't have any control. You have control where you bought the property, but you also don't have control on what goes on necessarily fully around your property. And if you're able to mitigate that as you are hosting, the guest you're going to eliminate those refunds, eliminate those wild guest reviews that you didn't even have anything to do with, that are going to hinder your bottom line in the long run. Night of check-in message. All of these can be, besides the welcome basket, which your cleaners can operate. And I want you to empower your cleaners. There's a couple things in here that I'll talk about as well too. Your cleaner is going to be your lifeline for a lot of these things, especially if you don't live near the property, or if you don't have an inspector and you don't have that in your budget. Empower your cleaners to really take this on with their jobs. The cleaners want more income and more work. So if you can find ways to give them other small tasks that are going to increase things for you, you'll be able to save more time, and you won't have to deal with a guest that is having an issue, which leads into my night of check-in message. This is just a basic template that I use. There's no fancy sauce to it. This is something that can be automated. I send this out at every single property at night at 7 p.m. My check-ins are at 4 p.m. at every single one of my properties. At 7 p.m. at night, I send this automated message out, and the amount of people, and the really cool thing about automation is if you make it sound very human, they're going to think they're talking to a human. This alone has saved me from so many refund requests, so many bad reviews. I pride myself in being able to take a bad, quote unquote, bad experience, bad stay, and turn it into a 5-star review. This is the key. This one message right here. Because what it happens is if you don't check in with your guests after they've checked in, most guests might find an issue. They might have something come up and they'll be like, I'm just not gonna bring it up to the host, but I'll definitely bring it up on the review though. And you're like, no, I would have known this. I could fix it. Well, how you can find out if you need to fix something is reach out to the guest and ask, is there anything, how is your stay? Is there anything we can do for you? That message alone, they're gonna tell you at that point if there's been a problem. And if there's an issue, then that's when you jump into action, use your systems, and solve it. And guests are going to reciprocate that in their reviews. I've had so many instances where something was going wrong, and I was able to mitigate it by jumping in on my check-in message, getting it solved, and the guest is so impressed with how fast we operate and how much we check in with them. They want to know that there's I call it a digital hug, basically. Guests want to know that there's a person on the other side of this short-term rental. They don't want to think they're renting from some massive conglomerate and they could never get help if something was going wrong. This helps you humanize it. Same thing with the walkthrough video. Those are going to help you humanize yourself to all of these guests that are coming in, which is what we want to do in this experience. Even in the hotel world, with 100 keys and things like that, there's a reason why they'll still like some of the nice, if you think about nicer hotels you've been to, if you think about hotels that really exemplified hospitality, they have all of these custom touch points, all these small check-ins, all these little things that will make sure that the guest is having the experience they want to provide, and we can mimic some of the same things in our short-term rentals. AI tools for overnight. This is another big one that I am a massive fan of, and I hate being that guy up here that's like AI, because at this very point, I think AI has a ton of features, but the best case use is to use it as a tool under a humanized approach, and a human, either it's you or your assistants that are able to oversee and how this works. We all get super stressed, I'm sure, overnight, and worried about how are we going to answer some of these questions that come overnight. I myself, I have to sleep with when I first started, I had to sleep with my phone on ring because I didn't know if XYZ was, this guest in this place was going to call me and they can't find the Wi-Fi even though I've given it to them in 10 messages. And then I wake up and they're mad because I never gave them the Wi-Fi at 1 a.m. And how do I solve this issue? And it's going to cost so much. I got to hire an assistant. I have 3 virtual assistants already. I, without a doubt, have maximized my revenue by bringing in AI tools to take on these super simple messages that come in. There's my friend, his name is Jay. I met him last year at BPCon, which is another example of networking, being out and about. He started a company called HostBuddy AI. Has anybody ever heard of HostBuddy AI in here? Very few. All right. This, and there's companies out there, Hospitable has their own AI features, Logify has some, and do not work for HostBuddy, have no affiliation with them. I will say that this tool alone, and there's some other ones out there, it costs about $10 a month per property. It is better. It is a better host than I am. It will answer questions way quicker. It will have the most friendly and hospitable tone you could imagine. I'm sure all of us in this room have gotten a message and we read it and we're like, I hate this person. Like, like, how do you exist? But then we're trying to answer this back and we're already mad. Like, how dare you say that? And this is the tool that will eliminate that. And before I got onto HostBuddy I would take the message, go into ChatGPT and go, hey, write a more friendly approach because I'm about to go off on this person, right? HostBuddy, and I keep saying HostBuddy because it's the one I personally use. There's a ton of tools out there though, so don't feel handcuffed to this. But this tool will run 24/7 for you, and AI will work as well as you train it. That is the thing to know too. People will say, oh, my AI may answer the wrong question. It's because you didn't train it properly, and you didn't put in the time, the upfront effort to save your time going forward. And this whole presentation is about maximizing the guest experience, and in turn, maximizing your revenue. And that isn't just like a quick bottom line of like, oh, we're going to increase your profits, which we will talk about shortly. This is a tool that is going to help you scale, help you sleep well at night, to be able to wake up refreshed and be able to tackle these other things that we need as investors to go after, to find better deals, to find partnerships that we can do with people to expand our portfolio, crunch the expenses and know, like, am I spending too much on this property or anything like that, using a tool like Baseline, which is an amazing tool in itself. and has a ton of AI revolutionary things that's going on there. But I just love these overnight AI tools for just simply your own peace of mind. Like I would spend way more money than it costs for these just to know that overnight I don't have to worry about a guest, being left high and dry, and I'm able to give them that digital hug from somebody that AI tool isn't going to take off on Christmas. The AI tool isn't going to take off on New Year's. It's not going to take off on July 4th. It isn't going to not show up for work one day. And using that in conjunction with your own hosting abilities and maybe your virtual assistants if you get to that point, but this is how you're going to be able to. There's times where I look at my team and I realize that their time could be used better. Like, it doesn't always have to be them. They shouldn't be answering hey, the Wi-Fi is this code. Like, even though we've put it in the guidebook and it is in a QR code sitting on the desk and I've told you in 7 messages, my team needs to be searching for more deals, reaching out to other owners to see if we can co-host for them. That is what I need to be paying money for, instead of them answering, hey, what's the door code? Well, we sent it to you 6 times this morning. I don't know how else I could tell you. Common backup issues. This is another one. And I keep reiterating that not every single one of these things you see is going to instantly add money to your bottom line. And there's a couple I'm going to say shortly that will. But this is another big one for me that I truly love, that a lot of people overlook. And you might be trying to go cheap on your first one or not spend more. Think about what your most common issues are at your property. For me, I can already say it. The Roku remote's going out, which, Roku is great because you can use the app, but some guests hate the app. My coffee maker going out. I've had microwaves go out. Small things like this that you're like, oh man, what am I gonna, guests message you 8 a.m., hey, coffee maker's not working. You're like, okay, well, I guess I have to go deliver a coffee maker, or I gotta call my cleaner to go deliver it, or maybe I jump on, I can get a Walmart delivery for it. If you had your $20 coffee maker from Amazon, a backup one, sitting nearby, you could instantly just message that guest back and go, hey, I'm so sorry to hear that. There's a new coffee maker right there. That solved that whole problem from having and a guest may have not even, this is why the check-in message is big, they may never even told you something was wrong. If you checked in with them a few times and they go, hey, yeah, everything's great, but the remote's not working. Hey, and then could you switch the batteries? We switched them out, it's still not working. Okay, well, hey, there's an extra remote. It cost me $10 from Walmart. You can probably even get them for $5 on Amazon. There's an extra remote right there in the cabinet. Feel free to grab it and use it. Solves the problem. Otherwise, you're sending out yourself or your assistant or your cleaner, probably paying them $50, $100 to go bring a new one. And then in a week or two, if you didn't get a backup, you might have the same problem. I've had coffee makers, especially the Keurig. I don't know where their quality has went. It's been kind of wild. In the past few months, I've had a Keurig coffee maker go out at least 3 times in the same property after buying new ones. Each time, though, I had a different backup for it, and it saved probably $100 worth of expenses. Instead, I had this $20 to $25 Amazon coffee maker that now solved the issue, and I get to move on about my day of doing the investing activities that we need to be doing as hosts. So I want you to think through of what are common issues that pop up, or try to be a problem solver before they even come up. And have an area in your property that has some of these backups. You don't need a backup refrigerator. You don't need I'm not talking your major things, but I'm talking the common issues. You all should have backup batteries, all that. But I'm talking the common things that just go out, and there's no rhyme or reason why it went out, and we're trying to scramble and solve it, instead of being like, okay, yeah, no, there's if you do, the microwave went out, you have an extra microwave somehow in a little storage area, problem solved, you don't got to send somebody to do it. It is going to give you back your time, and also the guest is going to be like, wow, this host really is on top of what is going on. Think about it in a hotel. Not all hotels, I'm sure we've all been in Caesar's Palace, if you're staying here and you've seen that, they're not providing fridges. If you grab your, the water bottle out of the mini fridge, you're getting charged your firstborn child or something like that. I think that's what it says on there. We're going to get into that in a second, but they have eliminated a lot. They figured out how to maximize their guest revenue, but then they also eliminated a lot of common things that are issues. There's no coffee maker in our rooms. I don't know if y'all are staying in the same one. There's none. But it's also, a guest can't complain about the coffee maker being out, and they're going to make more revenue off of it. That I don't completely agree with, but you have to think about, like, okay, how can I do that from a short-term rental perspective of knowing what could be the common issue, and I'm getting ahead of it before, solve the problem, and just keep moving on. We all don't want to dwell on a broken coffee maker all day if you have that problem already solved inside of your unit. QR codes. This one is going to be a guest experience benefit and also an upsell benefit. And as I'm thinking about this, I did forget slightly on the AI overnight. The really cool thing about AI tools is they also will do upsells for you. HostBuddy can do it, I'm Hospitable, I'm sure can do it. These are gonna be, they will automatically scan your calendar, see what opening nights you have. If you have a night open on the back end, they'll send a message to the guests and go, hey, we noticed that there's an extra day on your stay. Do you want to add it on for 15%? I probably would say 20 to 30% of guests take up on that offer. We also can offer, hey, there's a day before your stay. Do you want to check in early for a 15% discount? We all want more extended stays because every time you turn over, that costs more. Those AI tools alone are going to, if you're paying $10 a month of property and it gives you 2 or 3 upsells just from the AI working, you never have to even look at your calendar. That pays for itself, 10x right then. That is how we can use some of these points to also make more revenue, which I get into with the QR codes. This is huge for me. Who has a sauna at their property? Does anybody have a sauna at their property? How many times have you gotten questions from guests that have zero idea how to work a sauna? All the time, right? The walkthrough video, that helps mitigate it. I've saved a ton of info there. But the really cool thing with QR codes, and you can do this at any part of your property. Say you have, a hot tub. Say you have anything in there that you would be worried that a guest has. The TV, great example. A lot of people turn on the TV and they may have never used a Roku TV before, or the TV you have. You can get these super small. You can get a QR code for free. There's tons of websites that will generate it. Make your walkthrough video, or you can make a solo walkthrough video and show how to use that feature. So let's say a hot tub, for example. You can make a quick video about using your hot tub, the buttons, the rules, showering before you get in, all those things. Put a QR code right by the hot tub and say, hey, if you want to know how to use it, scan it. That alone is going to eliminate a ton of questions that you could avoid and keep working. The other really cool thing, and you can take Caesar's Palace for an example of this, is you can have the QR code do upsells for you. Say you partner, and we'll get into this in a little bit, say you have a local company that in my area, I partnered with a jet ski and a boat rental company for some of my properties. We're near a lake. I get 10% anytime a guest books. The guest can get 10% off. I've worked that out with the company. I can have a QR code sitting in my unit, even though I've upsold them. I have the messages that go out. Sometimes though, a guest may be in the unit and they're like, man, I kind of want to do something, or I kind of getting the itch to, see more in the area. You could have a QR code that people can say, hey, want to rent a jet ski? Here's this. Instantly, people will scan it. That's more revenue for you. You didn't even have to lift a finger to tell them where to book or how to answer that question for them. And if you can work out some of these local partnerships and there's other ones like Viator. Has anybody ever heard of Viator in here before? Bigger cities, that's a great one for. If you're more rural, like a lot of my properties, it may not fit, but Viator will pay you a commission for things if you get people to book and do experience through Viator. So you can have a QR code to Viator. There's a new one called Why Hangry. It's basically a private chef experience. They're from the UK. They just came to the US. It's called Why Hangry, which is a great name. I am constantly hangry. And that's another one. You could have the QR code sitting in your unit and say they didn't take advantage of it at the beginning, but now they're sitting in your unit and they're like, you know what? I would like a private chef to come tonight. And as long as you get your kickback and you've worked that out with them, there's instant revenue for you there. You didn't have to lift a finger. These QR codes, and it feels high tech. People think like they see the value you're bringing to them. They feel, they can tell that you care. And this is going to be something that it's not, you can get these little signs for $2 or $3 off Amazon. There's another one, there's a company called Zazzle or Zazzle.com that Zazzle. They will print these little things up for $2 or $3 as well. And you can get all types of really cool mementos from them. This is a game changer for you, especially if you have amenities that people don't know how to work, or if you're really trying to get into the upsell business, which lifetime value of a guest is, as things have progressed in short-term rentals, we have more saturation and all of this, or hosts are trying to figure out how to make more money. The guest that is in your property is already, they're excited to be coming. They've already spent some money. It's a lot easier to get them to spend just a little bit more money because they're already involved in the whole process. Getting a new customer is one of the hardest things. Getting more lifetime value out of the customer you already have is a lot more simple if you can lay out the things that they are hoping to add on to their experience. And that is you knowing your guest avatar and knowing your customer base in that particular market. This is the small gifts and gestures section, which kind of ties into the partnerships that we talked about, kind of ties into the in case you forgot basket. But this, and these are just, bad examples from the internet. I don't use these personally. But the thing about the small gesture that I like to see is you're going to increase the guest experience. Find out what they're coming for. Like, hey, do you have a birthday coming? Or if they tell you they have a birthday coming or something, you're like, awesome. Do you drink champagne by chance? Cool. You can get a $10 bottle of champagne from the store, leave it in the unit. Guest is going to be elated, leave you great reviews. The host cared about us so much. The really cool feature with that, though, is once you find out what somebody is celebrating or what they're doing in the area, if say they're coming like, oh, yeah, we're coming for a birthday. Awesome. We could put a bottle of champagne in there for you. Or the better thing we could even do if you really want to celebrate is you could buy our birthday package that we offer. And when I say a birthday package, and there's a few ways you could do this, is I charge, at all of my properties, I charge $200 to bring in balloons, bring in a cake, bring in candles, or birthday candles, flowers, if they wanted some small things that I can get to be about $50 to $60 target range. I then will have my cleaner set these packages out for $25 to $30 extra for her, and I'm making 50% profit margin on these packages. That, again, is a way to increase the guest experience. They're going to be elated that they had all this set up. We do a romantic package as well. It's another one where it's proposals and other things like that. Usually the partner has no idea how they're going to surprise their significant other, and they're trying to figure out, how can I do that? Well, that is when you, as an operator, can step in, increase your bottom line. All of my packages I make 50% profit on. If you're not, you need to figure out your numbers of, you can buy these things in bulk off Amazon or your local grocery store. Figure out how you can get to that 50% profit margin on it. And the amount of times that guests are going to buy this is going to stun you. And I had one guest, I will never forget this, and everybody, I still can't believe this to this day. I used to offer more packages. I've consolidated it now to just, we have a romantic package, we have a birthday package, and we have a breakfast package is what we call it. I used to have 6 or 7 packages, like pizzas and s'mores, all these other things. I eliminated them because the cost benefit wasn't there. But I had one guest, he stayed in one of my properties, stayed in for one night, it was a $300-ish stay. He bought every single package I had. He spent $1,200 on packages, and this was all automated, direct booking softwares. I didn't have to touch it. I got that, I saw it, and I looked at it, and I've had one chargeback in my history of direct booking. I do 75% direct bookings. I've had one chargeback. I saw that one, and I was like, oh, he's definitely about to charge this back. I went through all my softwares. I was like, I use Stripe as my payment processor for direct booking. They have a risk evaluation in it. I went and looked at the risk evaluation. It was 0, which means he's not a risk. And I'm like, okay, something still's weird. I just don't believe it. It was not a scam. This guy literally bought every single package I had and was excited to do it. I tell that story all the time because people don't realize that you can unlock so much with somebody that's coming stay at your place already. They are excited to come stay at your place. They've already committed some money to it. Usually, and that is an anomaly. I've only had that happen one time. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I wish that happened every time. Probably wouldn't be here. I'd probably be in Belize on a beach or something hanging out. But if you can convince some of these people, or not even convince, if you can offer these things, and again, Host Buddy AI or any of these AI tools or your automatic messages just in your property management software, a week before, 2 weeks before, send out a message that says, hey, we got your champagne included, or they don't even have to have any special occasion. Just go, hey, we just wanted to offer you last minute that, we have these birthday romantic packages, whatever packages work for you. We just wanted to see if you wanted to implement them. You're gonna be, I guarantee you, 15 to 25% of the people are going to start taking you up on that, especially if your package caters to your guest demographic. If you're in a family vacation market, have an ability to have the groceries set out for them. If you're in a couple's vacation market, have the romantic package, also have the ability to have them have a mobile masseuse come out, and like bundle with all these things, partner with them. If you can increase your lifetime value of your guest from that one stay, there's so much competition out there. Guests can do anything they want to. A return guest isn't as likely as it used to be, I've kind of seen. You would think it's like way more popular that, a guest stays with you. Oh yeah, half my guests are gonna come back every year. It's probably more like 5 or 10%. So we need to drive the lifetime value of that one guest more than ever before now, especially because there's options all around. They could watch Netflix instead of like vacationing. They could go to a sporting event. They can listen to any type of music they want from any era. Like the options for people to do with their money and time now are just so much more vast than before that we really need to maximize and hone in with them already coming to our property and take advantage of them. Yeah, that's probably not the right way to put it. We need to embrace the fact that they're spending some money with us, and we need to go ahead and like reciprocate that we can increase their experience even more and make more revenue in our own pocket. And it gives your cleaners another source of income. My cleaners love it. I've had the same cleaners in all of I've been 3 different locations now. I've had the same cleaners in each location for almost 3 years at each one. And it's because not only do I pay them well for the cleanings, but I also empower them to help me make more money, and in turn, they make more money. And it's a team effort on that fact. Personalized local recommendations. This kind of taps into what we briefly talked about with the QR codes, but this is even, I think, a little bit bigger, because I think that as everything has been evolving in short-term rentals and all that if you can bring that personal touch to a guest, and this is why you ask them, what exactly are you coming for? You'll be able to build out, and this is like a one-page sheet I send out to some of my property. This is on one of my properties near Austin, Texas. My assistant helped make it. I got somebody off of Fiverr to make a quick little flyer. It was $5, I think. There's probably an AI tool that could do that if you blink at this point. If you're able to give them their own custom itinerary, ask when they come in, and the thing about it is, we send custom itineraries, I say that in quotes, but most of them are very similar to each guest. We just know, hey, are you staying for 1 or 2 days or 3 days? We have our own setup functionality of like a sheet like this, and then we send it to them. But what's baked in that, and it's going to lead into one of the last parts too, is we have partnerships with a few of these local companies that we're sending out to. There's also opportunities to implement like other partnerships nearby that you can benefit from, and maybe you don't even make money on it, but you're getting the guest out of your property sometimes. Sometimes that's more beneficial than having them sit in your property all day, finding everything wrong they can with it, figuring out like, oh, this host doesn't care about me, he's got 4 coffee cups, like this person's terrible. Getting them out your property actually is one of the more beneficial things that is for a short-term rental host, because I'm sure we've all dealt with the same thing of a guest, the more they're in there, the more there seems to be issues popping up. But my favorite guests are the ones that come, do all the activities and the cool things in the area, and then they come back and they're probably so tired they just want to sleep. And then they're not obviously not throwing a rager or anything, but there's less time for cleanup. There's less cooking that they're doing. There's less wear and tear on your actual property because you're getting them ideas around the actual area. And then you're also increasing their guest experience. Sometimes, and I briefly mentioned it, but sometimes you don't have to make money on your partnerships. They don't always have to be that way. But if you're able to make your guest feel like they had a one-of-a-kind stay and they were able to do so many things, that is how you're going to be able to get people coming back. Your properties most of the time are not going to be the only sole thing that are going to bring people back. It's going to be what they did when they were out in your particular area. And that's either the partnerships you set up to maybe bring a private chef, maybe you work with Viator and see what's in the local area, or it's the fact that you were able to inform them of the cool coffee shop around the corner that they didn't know. Hey, there's this really cool restaurant that does, it's a French bakery and most people don't even know about it. This is your itinerary, you should go check it out. Some guests like being kind of told like what they actually can do in the area. Like they don't want to do the Google research. They don't want to find their own things. They want to hear from you, the local host, of what exactly is going to make their stay memorable. And that is how you can increase, and I've struggled with it myself, but this is one of the very fundamental ways I have seen to increase guests actually returning to your property, because you expose them to all of the things in your area that are really cool to do. Most people, they're not going to have any idea, and Google can only tell you so much. You're the expert in the area, and if you're not the expert in the area, either become it or get on a Facebook group and figure it out, because that is where most of these really cool things will live. You won't know where the animal sanctuary is nearby. You won't know about the cool rock shop that is near you. Get into some of these local Facebook groups and see what are some offerings out there. I found my mobile masseuse from being in a Facebook group. I didn't even know that was an option in some of my areas. But I partnered with her, and this is a guest experience thing I can bring to them and put it into their itinerary. I could send it in the itinerary, and they may not even ask about it or know about it. And then when they see it, they're like, "Oh, I can book a massage. Oh, well, hey, can I still book the massage? Yep, here's the link." Instant 10% in my pocket, and we're charging $300 for a mobile massage. So just by sending out this one simple thing, I made an extra $30 on top of the stay, and I increased the guest experience. And they're probably going to have much better social currency to tell their friends, "Hey, I got a massage in my place. Hey, I went and rented a jet ski." Especially for anybody that has kind of a plain Jane property, you're probably always wondering like, "Hey, how can I get some more marketing out of this? How do I even market just a house?" Well, you need to figure out what's really cool around you and use that as your marketing. Use that as your leverage to have guests post about you and tag about you and go, "Hey, I went to this really cool, in Texas, there's a Renaissance festival nearby in one of my properties, and it is massive. And a lot of people know about it, a lot of people don't. But I've told a ton of people, and guests will go stay there, and they'll tag us and them going to the festival just because we told them about it. Oh, we stayed at this really cool house, but it was right near the festival." That's went viral a few times, and it wasn't even my property, or it was just a plain Jane property. But then we get bookings coming in because people wanted to stay in something that's comfortable and they've seen online, and then be able to experience that what the person was putting out for you. And then this is one of the last things that I wanted to touch on is a post-stay thank you. This can be automated as well. Almost 80% of these things I've talked about can be automated. And once you do that initial upfront work, you're going to save so much time on the back end. A lot of these tools will take a little bit of work to get them running. But once you get them running, it is like clockwork for you. You don't have to worry about it. Again, this is just a small template of it. This is another way to catch any final, and I've even changed a little bit of how I operate with this. Actually, in the past week or two, sitting down with my team, we've talked about this. We used to send this message pretty quickly. We still send this message, but we've added even another buffer layer in there with an automated message. So right before this message, actually at 2 o'clock, guest checkout, 10 or 11, we send an automated message and we just go simply, "Hey, thanks so much for staying with us. Did you have a 5-star stay experience?" That message, because we used to send out this one first, and it would have a review link. This is direct bookings. Don't send a Google link on Airbnb. Bad advice for me. Don't do that. This is for my direct bookings. If you're on Airbnb and it's an Airbnb guest, incentivize them to obviously review on Airbnb. But now I send out that message and I go, "Hey, did you have a 5-star experience?" This is my last line of defense to catch any issues that came up with the guest after I had talked to them. And this is how you can mitigate those bad reviews coming in that you are blindsided by. They checked out, everything was fine, and they come back, "Yeah, the fridge never worked and the TV never worked." And then it's in the review, and you're like, "Well, why didn't you just tell me?" Well, it's probably because you didn't ask as a host. These touch points are going to be what are going to be able to you to turn it around. So say right before you send this, you send the 5-star stay experience, and they're like, "No, it wasn't." I would never send them this message after that. I would then go into reverting with my systems and operating procedures of making sure that we can address whatever the issue was. Most guests at that point, though, you know that they either had a decent experience because you haven't heard anything, asking that 5-star experience question can then lead to this, to where you blatantly ask for the reviews. I talk about how we're a small family-owned business. I want to keep that in mind for people to get out of their head that, hey, I'm some massive conglomerate or something, especially now that the bigger our company has become. And then we also will, at the bottom, give them a small discount code to return for us. That is called the reciprocity effect. So not only do you have this code that people are like, oh wow, he's given us something, we had a great experience, I could give them a review for sure. A lot of guests, not all your guests are going to give reviews. We've all seen it. They could have a great experience and they just don't leave a review, and that's awesome. That's totally their prerogative. But how you can actually get them to feel like they need to leave you a review is offering them something in return rather quickly. And then 2 or 3 months later, you can automate another message with a reminder of like, hey, don't forget, here's your 15% off code, or here's your 10% off code. We'd love to have you back any single time. That is going to be, it is so much cheaper to, retention beats acquisition. That's one of my favorite things on the marketing side. And I mentioned it's a little harder than before, but it is still so important to realize that the people that you've already had stay in your property, it's going to, you offering 15% off is going to be much cheaper than going to try and market and pay for all these extra things that you should be doing to find new customers, though, in a much more saturated environment that we can see now. So I kind of just wanted to wrap up with any questions, anything in particular that I hit on, anything you loved, you hated. I am the runner, so I will come to you, or you even can, I'll come to you for now. I'll walk this way first.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Max, by the way, and I'm just curious what kind of AI tools you are utilizing in your properties, and I'm wondering how, is it something that you were able to set up yourself, or did you contract someone else to do it?
So I do use, like I said, HostBuddy is my favorite. It's the most simple setup. The really cool thing about HostBuddy on my AI tools is HostBuddy will link into your property and will read all of your past messages from 6 months to a year ago, take all of that information, and that's how it builds its AI brain. So you don't have to train it very much. There will be some things that you have to train a little bit, but a lot of these AI tools are so smart that they can read and see what you have written into all of these past guests, and they'll instantly know the answer for it. AI tools now, you really don't need somebody else to set them up for you, especially the ones that I've used. Even the cool thing about HostBuddy and other programs out there too is you can implement, they have a chat bot that you can put on your direct booking website. And it will answer all those questions. It will look at your openings, and it will make sure if somebody jumps onto your direct booking website and goes, hey, do you have any place for 8 people on October 30th? HostBuddy will send them an answer, go, yeah, here, check this property, this is the opening. They don't have to search for it. So the AI tools, that's the main one I use. I know Hospitable has some really good AI tools for like Baselane for your banking and bookkeeping and accounting. Those are huge, but really, once you find one that you really like, that one pretty much is going to be almost a set it and forget it once you've trained it enough from the beginning, I would say.
Thank you.
Yep, for sure. Oh, cool, perfect. There you go. Hello.
Garrett.
Hey.
Aside from YouTube, is there anything equivalent to sort of 3D walkthroughs, virtual walkthroughs, or anything we can incorporate in Airbnb or VRBO?
Oh, it does work.
Yeah. So I personally haven't done like a 3D walkthrough. As a real estate agent, I've done Matterport is a really big company that a lot of people have done walkthroughs for, and getting like maybe a real estate photographer that has Matterport cameras to come out and walk your property. But I personally think that there's no better way to showcase your property than an actual just video of either you or the person that is operating it, walking through it and showing exactly what they are expecting, what are the nuances to it. There's a lot of 3D model, like a Matterport is definitely the big one, and what I would say from my agent experience of using. But I don't think there's any way to replace a physical person walking the property. Because if you can't explain to the person that the guest that is staying with you what are the nuances to your property, the 3D imaging isn't going to show it either. Short-term rental is a little different. Like, we need to tell them the nuances about what they're coming to and what to expect, so that way we can eliminate that bad guest experience, and people don't think they're walking into it knowing that, okay, he mentioned really quickly that the gas fire pit's a little tricky sometimes. So when they get there and it's a little tricky, they're not going to be furious with you, like, you know, like something like you just like damn ruined their whole vacation or whatever. They're kind of expecting that more. So does that kind of answer it?
It does. One last part though, are there any little hacks aside from the reviews to just kind of bump yourself up in the area as the listings show up on Airbnb or VRBO or something like that?
So that's a whole other conversation on the marketing side, which anybody wants to chat marketing, that is like, I nerd over marketing and I would love to chat anything about that. My biggest thing with Airbnb is, one, you know, things are changing over there too, but you need to understand what Airbnb looks for in their algorithm. Airbnb it's an interest-based algorithm. They look at how people interact with properties, and they decide if that is a property that is going to need to be higher in their algorithm because it's either booking really well or people are clicking through a lot. So my advice from the Airbnb algorithm side is you need to hit as many filters as you can on the algorithm. If you're not pet friendly, that's the biggest searched one ever. Cancellation policy is a really big one. I have all strict cancellation policies at my places for a bunch of reasons, but if you're struggling to get further ahead on any of your bookings or anything like that, the cancellation policy is the one that I would start to mess with a little bit. I wouldn't go down to, you know, full refund the day before or anything like that, but I've seen other people test it a lot, that alone has dramatically increased their ability to end up higher in the Airbnb algorithm. The other thing is, you need to have, like, I could go on for hours about this. I'm trying to limit down to what are my favorite ones. It's also the booking friction. Like, if people are getting to your page, clicking it, and they're looking around and then they're not booking, Airbnb is not going to be happy with that because they want people that are clicking and they get to the booking phase. And you need to realize, what is it about the booking page that is stopping people from getting your property? Is it your house rules? Is it your pricing? Is it your reviews? Is it your, you know, is your description, is it 2 lines and you didn't give enough information? If you're able to convert anybody that actually gets on to the booking page of Airbnb, that is where Airbnb